What up, dope smokers? Welcome to Astrology 101. If you want to learn how to read a moon chart or worship sky gods, or maybe just look interesting for that goth girl you fancy, then this is the video for you. What was only a few years ago seen as being exclusively for hippies and the easily persuaded is now $1 billion industry. It's the Christianity for the TikTok era. But where did astrology come from? I was kinda hoping the lighting will be a bit better than this. For as long as humanity has been staring at the stars, we've been wondering if they're actually gods or something. There's evidence of astrology existing in some form or another at least 25,000 years ago, making it one of the few things other than your mum. However, modern astrology began around 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, in places all over the world. You could say the reason for this is because astrology fundamentally impacts us regardless of place or time, and that sort of proves that it's real. Or you could say everyone got too carried away stargazing. Until as recently as a few hundred years ago, astrology was a well-respected scientific field. Kings and queens sought the advice of star charts, and you could even get a university degree in moon worship. But that all changed around the 18th century, when everyone started to get really up themselves after they finally figured out feudalism just wasn't worth the hype. For quite a while after this, astrology was reserved for wealthy, crazy people, who were probably into weird cult sex shit. Until the 1930s, when newspapers started publishing horoscopes and predicting future events. Weirdly, they didn't mention the start of the Second World War, which you might have thought would have been worth a mention or two, but apparently the real problems plaguing the world in 1939 were failed farmers, childless marriages, and the Irish. In the 1960s, counterculturalists, New Agers, and hippies took to astrology faster than you can say, "Who put rat poison in my acid bag?" And it's been popular with wannabe pagans ever since. Ronald Reagan had an astrology, which both makes zero sense and explains everything. Okay, I'm skeptical. I admit that I'm not sold on any of this being based in reality, but it's easy to knock something you don't understand. And yeah, I really don't understand this. Hold on. Alright, so I've been up all night on the cook trying to get my head around this, but I think I've got it. Well, mostly, kind of, a little bit, not really. So the first thing you need to understand about astrology is that it's more of an art than a science, which is a bit weird given how fucking complicated they make learning this shit. So if you want to do anything to do with astrology on someone, then the first thing you gotta know is their birth chart. A birth chart or a natal chart is a fancy way of saying what the sky was doing the moment you got shut out by your mum. It looks at the sun, the moon, and the planets, even though they've got absolutely fuck all to do with each other. And it correlates that with the place and time of your birth. So for me, I was born in bumblefuck nowhere on the 11th of September. Dad, do you know what time I was born? No, it's for my birth chart. It's to do with astrology. Yeah, I'm getting into astrology. Hello. To make sense of this wickedness, one must first understand what's called the primal triad. The idea being that out of all this stuff, 3 of these are more important than the rest. The big 3, the unholy trinity, the sun, the moon, and the rising. So your sun sign is like your core, like the default you, whereas your moon sign is your emotions, which I don't have, so there's no point me looking at that one. Your rising side is less about you and more about how others see you. Like how everyone sees you as a fat piece of shit. So for me, I'm a Virgo with the emotions of a Gemini, but everyone sees me as Scorpio. I don't know what that means. When people ask you what your star sign is, they're usually on about your sun sign, but some people think the moon sign is more important. It's all circles at the end of the day, innit? Working out what your star signs actually mean is also a source of endless debate and contradictions. I mean, the descriptions are always so vague that they could basically describe anyone. But just for shits and gigs, let's boil them down to their most basic attributes. Competitive, lazy, ADHD, kinda like normal. Attention seekers, James May. Clingy/OCD, pricks, curious, patient, I guess, rebellious/really self-righteous, and all of the above. Did they just give up with that one or what? Now you could say that anybody could be any of these things at any given time, but shut the fuck up, that's not how astrology works! So back around 600 years ago, some Italians were playing a poker game, got drunk, listened to too much MCR, and decided to jazz their playing cards up a bit. By which I mean, make them goth as fuck. And there was also some DLC added.
Shit! What? Have you seen this little character?
For literally ages, they were used in the same way we would use playing cards today. And it wasn't until the very late 18th century that occultists started to get rising signs over these things being used for divination. I mean, can you imagine that happening today? Hello, fortune teller. Can you tell me if my wife's gonna get pregnant? Alright. Well, I'm seeing plus 2, so I think that means you're gonna have 2 kids. Blimey, that's amazing. Yeah, but there's also 2 reverse cards, so... I don't have tarot cards, so I'm just going online. This is the first site that comes up when you search for it. It's by astrology.com and it gives you 8 options, and half of them are about relationships. Which, if you ask me, is a bit excessive. We're just going to do a daily tarot. Eeny, meeny, miny, that one. If you've been working hard towards some goal or specific result, you could see victory today. Maybe that means I'm going to finally finish making this fucking video. Pick another card. The sun. I like the sun. Not seeing that fucking much of it lately. Let's do a fucking love one. Fuck my life. Okay, let's keep it basic. Yes or no? Will I hit 10,000 subscribers? Booyah! Will I hit 100 million subscribers? Yeah, that was kind of pushing it a bit, to be fair. Will I lose track of myself, do something abhorrent, and then make a YouTube apology video that will get severe backlash, permanently damaging my reputation in the process? Yeah, fuck. I mean, firstly, for a lot of people, I imagine astrology is just a hobby that they maybe kinda sorta believe in, rather than them thinking it's 100% accurate, absolutely no bagsies. For those people who do absolutely take it seriously and would live and die based on their star charts, wanting direction and guidance from somewhere else isn't that uncommon. Honestly, if religious people demand a certain level of respect for their beliefs, I don't see why we shouldn't do the same for astrology. Your bearded man in the sky isn't more valid than a star chart. I mean, at least I can see the stars. In my opinion, taking the piss out of astrology is the same as taking the piss out of anyone who believes in anything spiritual. Meaning, I will do it, but I'm not picking on astrology in particular. Rest assured, I think fucking all of this is dumb. Actually thinking about it, seeing how like almost all the major religions are against things like abortions and sex before marriage and women in general, drugs and murder. Astrology doesn't tell me what I can and can't do. I mean, it doesn't really tell me much, it's all kind of vague. So although astrology might not be for me, I don't know, it's basically alright, isn't it?